Have you ever, found yourself surrounded by people, maybe in a really busy place, and yet you still feel this quiet ache, loneliness?
Yeah, that really profound sense of isolation, even when you're technically not alone. It's a strange feeling.
Exactly, feeling unseen almost when you're right there. Well, if that sounds familiar, that kind of emptiness in your chest, definitely not imagining it.
No, not at all. It's a really striking thing about our times, isn't it? We're living through this unique moment.
How so?
Well, we've never been so connected by technology. Phones, social media, all of it.
Right, connected 24/7.
But at the same time, it feels like we've really been so emotionally disconnected, this loneliness. It's become kind of silent epidemic.
A silent epidemic, wow.
Yeah, and a lot of us are carrying that weight, maybe without even fully realizing, what it is or why we feel it.
And that's exactly what we want to dive into today. We've looked at quite a bit of material, including this really insightful piece called The Collapse of Friendship in an Antisocial Age.
That's a key one.
So our mission really is to try and unpack the reasons behind this.
Yeah.
This feeling of disconnection that so many people, and importantly, look at ways to find some relief, some genuine connection.
Yeah, find pathways forward.
But let's be really clear about something up front. There's absolutely nothing wrong with enjoying solitude. Sometimes being alone is valuable, it's necessary, it can even be healing.
Definitely. That's not the issue we're talking about.
Right. The problem isn't choosing to be alone. It's more about not having anyone you can really count on when things get tough.
Or even just someone to share comfortable silence with, you know, that easy presence.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who feels like home. So if you feel that thirst for true connection, that's not weakness. That's just pure humanity. It's fundamental.
And when you look at the bigger picture, the societal shifts, it really highlights this crucial difference between the quantity of our relationship and, well, their quality.
That's such a powerful point. I mean, just think about it for a second. How many people do you technically know today?
Right. Through all the platforms.
Followers, virtual friends, work contacts, those Facebook acquaintances. The number could easily be hundreds, maybe even thousands for some.
Very cool.
But here's the real question, the one the source material pushes us to ask. How many of those people really know you?
Deeply know.
Yeah. How many would genuinely notice if you just vanished for a week? Or pick up on a little signs if you were pretending you were okay but actually struggling?
And this connects directly to some pretty stark data from the General Social Survey.
Okay, what's that?
So this is a major, long-running study, really respected, tracks social changes in the U.S. over decades. Very reliable stuff.
And what does it show?
It reveals something quite sobering, actually. The number of people who say they don't have even one close friend, that number has tripled in recent decades.
Tripled? Wow.
Tripled. So it's not just a vague feeling people have. It's a measurable, significant rise in social.
So we've got this incredible paradox then. We have more ways to communicate than ever before in history. All the apps, the instant messages.
But our conversations often feel so empty, so superficial.
Right. We trade emojis, but I mean, it's hardly a substitute for a real hug, is it? One that actually lasts long enough to feel someone's heartbeat.
Not at all. Or we give likes on a post, but that's nothing like someone really seeing you, understanding what's behind the photo or the words.
Or those automatic comments, the quick, looks great, instead of words that actually come from the heart, maybe from a place of vulnerability.
Yeah. You might have 500 followers, but do any of them know you woke up with a knot of anxiety this morning?
Probably not.
Or you get dozens of happy birthday messages on your wall, but how many know you spent the day before feeling really down, maybe even crying?
Exactly. Technology seems to offer this illusion of closeness.
An illusion, yeah.
And what we end up with, as the sources put it, are these ghosts of relationships.
Ghosts of relationships. Explain that.
Interactions that look like connection on the surface. They mimic it, but they lack the depth, the mutual investment, the reliability, real reciprocal bonds.
And deep down, your heart, it knows the difference, doesn't it? It knows when you're truly seen versus just being, noticed.
It absolutely does. And what's really illuminating from digging into this is how many different parts of modern life seem to be maybe unintentionally undermining friendship.
Okay, let's get into those. What's the first big?
Well, one major factor is this feeling of a constant time famine.
Time famine. Yeah, I feel that.
Right. Real friendship needs unhurried time, not time that's scheduled down to the minute or optimized for maximum efficiency.
No, it needs generous time, slow time, time for those comfortable silences or conversations that just wander wherever they need.
Without an agenda other than just being together.
Exactly. But honestly, in our lives, always rushing. Where do you find that kind of time anymore?
That is the critical question. This relentless pressure, always racing the clock, optimizing every single minute. Even our rest has to be productive somehow.
Yeah. Optimized relaxation.
It's created a generation of people who are just genuinely exhausted. We seem to have lost the ability to simply be with each other.
Just exist together.
Yeah, without needing to achieve something or tick off a box. And so friendship in that kind of environment, it starts to feel like a luxury.
A luxury. How so?
Not because it costs money, but because it demands time and energy for something that doesn't give you those immediate measurable results.
Right. It's not productive in the usual sense.
Exactly. Like the sources point out, really being there for a friend who's going through a hard time, that doesn't boost your career, it doesn't generate profit, it doesn't improve any metric that society values. And that's a huge reason why so many people feel alone. Friendship has become too, quote unquote, unproductive for a world obsessed with performance.
And speaking of productivity, let's talk about the workplace.
Ah, yes, the work.
Because there's often this deceptive sense of familiarity, right? You spend most of your waking hours with the same group of people.
Sharing the same space, the deadlines, the coffee machine.
You share jokes, maybe some surface-level complaints or confidences. It feels like you know them.
But, and this is crucial, coexistence isn't connection. Just being physically near someone doesn't mean you're emotionally close.
Right. You can sit next to someone for 8 hours a day
and still be total strangers, fundamentally. The work environment creates this kind of artificial intimacy.
Artificial intimacy. Yeah.
People might know your work habits, your professional persona, maybe some light personal details, but they don't truly know you.
Not the real you.
Not what keeps you up at night, or what makes you cry when you finally let your guard down, or what truly drives you beyond the job description. And this is why you can be surrounded by colleagues all day and still feel deeply, painfully lonely. Because deep down, as the sources really emphasize, you know that if you left that job tomorrow, most of those people would just vanish from your life. Poof.
That's harsh, but probably true for many.
The closeness was circumstantial, based on the shared environment, not built on real emotional connection. And that realization can leave a pretty painful mark, that feeling of being, well, replaceable.
Replaceable. Oof. That definitely feeds into another trend the material talks about, this disposable bonds culture.
Disposable bonds.
It feels like we've developed this massive intolerance for any discomfort or conflict in relationships.
Almost an analogy to it.
Yeah. It's like this blocking culture has taken over. The smallest disagreement, a minor frustration, and boom, you just cut someone out.
A different political view. Block, one letdown, canceled. They were in a bad mood once. Erased.
With the same coldness you'd use to cancel a streaming subscription you don't watch anymore.
It's a phenomenon the sociologist Zygmunt Bauman observed really keenly. He was a major thinker on these modern shifts.
What did he say about it?
He noted, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, that we live in times where bonds are fragile because we're afraid of getting too involved. Attachment scares us. Disconnection feels like protection.
Wow. Afraid of attachment.
Yeah. He saw it as part of what he called liquid modernity, where everything, institutions, jobs, relationships, becomes fluid, temporary, disposable, like consumer goods.
So we treat people like products.
In a way, yes. There's this deep aversion to the emotional work that every real relationship needs. We choose the safety of controlled solitude over the risk of being hurt or inconvenienced or even just challenged by someone else.
So we look for people who won't rock the boat.
Essentially, yeah. People who won't disappoint us, won't disagree, won't force us to grow or question ourselves. It's like we secretly want emotional robots programmed just to validate us constantly.
But that's not real life.
Not at all. Real relationships are messy. True friendship isn't about never having conflict. It's about having the ability, the commitment to work through that conflict together.
Right, to navigate it.
But if we cut ties at the first bump in the road, we're choosing this illusion of control over the messy, unpredictable, but ultimately much more rewarding reality of human connection.
And that messy reality, it often requires vulnerability, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's key.
And I mean, let's be honest. Many of us have been burned by that. You open up completely, show your most fragile self.
And you end up regretting it. Maybe you were ignored or judged or even betrayed.
Exactly. And those wounds, they might be invisible, but they lead us to build these huge emotional walls so high nobody can get over them.
And vulnerability, as the sources really highlight, is this paradox. It's both the most necessary and the most terrifying thing in human relationships.
The most necessary and the most terrifying.
Yeah, it creates this cruel situation.
Right.
You try to avoid one kind of suffering, the pain of potential rejection or betrayal.
By building those walls.
But in doing so, you create another kind of suffering, which can be just as devastating. The profound loneliness of being alive, functioning, but never truly known by anyone.
Wow. Yeah. So if this is where we are now, how did we get here? When did things start to crumble? I mean, you think back maybe even just a generation or two. People sat on porches and just talked for hours, or walked around town together on a Sunday afternoon, shared long meals where nobody was rushing off. Leisure time was often, collective.
That points to a really significant historical shift. Bauman, again, in his work on this liquid modernity, pointed to television as a starting point.
Television? How?
Well, suddenly, entertainment was available right inside your house, anytime you wanted it. And crucially, without the emotional unpredictability of actually dealing with other people.
Safe, predictable entertainment.
Exactly. So what used to be a collective experience, going out, sharing stories, being together, started becoming private consumption.
Yeah.
Even affection, Bauman argued, became something you mostly watched on a screen rather than lived.
Watched instead of lived.
And then, of course, the internet came along and just amplified that trend massively. Personalized digital worlds, algorithms feeding you exactly what you want.
Yeah. Creating these individual entertainment bubbles.
Precisely. And within those bubbles, isolation became so normal, so standard, that we barely even notice how much we've drifted apart from each other anymore.
And that drift, that preference for the easy and controlled, it eventually seeped into how we...
It seems so. Society subtly trained us to discard things constantly. Clothes, phones, furniture, you name it. Get the newer model.
The upgrade culture.
Right. And almost without realizing it, we started applying that same logic to human beings.
Which brings us back to Bauman's liquid rinse.
Exactly. Where everything feels provisional, temporary, disposable. There's just no patience, often, to work through the difficulty.
To invest the time to fix things or resolve conflict.
It just seems easier to, swipe next, look for someone new, someone who hasn't shown their flaws yet or caused any inconvenience.
But real friendship...
It requires the exact opposite of that consumer mindset, doesn't it? It needs patience for bad days, long-term emotional investment, loyalty, even when it's not easy or immediately rewarding.
Loyalty.
This next culture, the sources argue, is creating generations of people who are maybe good at starting relationships, getting those initial sparks.
They're terrible at maintaining them.
Exactly. They don't know how to do the hard work of keeping them going, deepening them over time.
And the result for so many people is this life that looks full on the surface, lots of contacts, lots of acquaintances.
But feels empty of real, deep friendship.
Yeah. And for so many adults, there's this very specific, often unspoken kind of pain. It almost feels shameful to admit it.
What kind of pain?
The realization that, nobody calls you spontaneously anymore, just to chat.
The phone only rings for work or appointments.
Right. Your phone can be silent for days, except for those things. Or you could disappear off social media for weeks and maybe nobody even notices, or at least nobody reaches out to ask if you're okay.
That feeling of being an option, maybe, not a priority.
Exactly. Or you're always someone's plan B. It's a devastating feeling.
And I want to say to anyone listening who feels that, you are not imagining it. You're not being overly dramatic or sensitive.
It's real.
That loneliness you feel is absolutely real, it's valid, and honestly, it's a shared experience for far more people than you probably realize. Social media, especially, has created what the sources call this theater of affection.
Theater of affection. I like that term.
It looks real, it mimics intimacy, but it's often completely empty of actual substance. We get these tiny microdoses of digital validation, a like, a quick comment.
And it gives us the illusion that we're connected.
Exactly. When in reality, those fleeting digital hits might actually be leaving us feeling more isolated than ever before.
Which brings us, I think, to a really fundamental part of the problem.
Right.
Our attention, or maybe our hijacked attention.
Yes. Attention is crucial.
There's data from the American Time Use Survey showing that since the 1960s, the amount of time people spent in actual face-to-face social interaction has just plummeted.
Dropped drastically.
So ask yourself this. When was the last time you had a conversation with someone where both of you were completely 100% present? No phones out, no half listening.
It's rare, isn't it? Our attention, which is the absolute bedrock of any real relationship, it has been thoroughly hijacked.
Hijacked by what?
By everything. We've gotten so used to, maybe we've even addicted to, this constant stream of stimuli, notifications, feeds, alerts. Our brains are wired for interruption now. And it's created this kind of internal restlessness. It makes it almost impossible to just be with another person without feeling the pull to check something, to do something else.
Silence feels awkward now.
Silence can feel physically uncomfortable. Slowness drives us nuts. Depth often scares us because it means staying in one emotional place for longer than a few seconds.
A friendship needs that.
Real friendship demands exactly what we seem to have lost.
Yeah.
The ability to give our full, undivided attention to another human being. Because without attention, there's no real connection. Without connection, there's no real love, no real intimacy. And without that, there's just loneliness.
Just the loneliness?
Our brains have essentially been hacked by algorithms optimized for instant, superficial gratification. That whole system is fundamentally opposed to how deep friendships actually form.
How so?
Because friendship grows in slowness. It happens in comfortable repetition, the familiarity that deepens gradually over time, not in quick hits and constant novelty.
Okay, so hearing all of this, understanding these huge forces, the time famine, the workplace issues, disposability, fear of vulnerability, the attention hijack, can feel pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, it's a lot. It can feel discouraging.
You might be thinking, is it even possible anymore? In this fragmented, fast-paced, often superficial world, can we still build real bonds?
Is there hope?
And this is where the source material takes a really encouraging turn. The answer it gives is a clear, categorical yes, it is still possible.
That's good to hear. It is.
Well,
It's an optimistic view, but it comes with a really important condition.
which is...
It's going to require something from us, something that maybe our current culture makes us hesitant to give.
Okay.
It requires the courage to be vulnerable again, even after being hurt. It requires the discipline to be present in a world designed for distraction. And it requires commitment without guarantees.
Commitment without guarantee.
Zygmunt Bauman, who we mentioned earlier, he put it beautifully. To love is to commit without guarantee. And the very same applies to building and keeping real friendship. You invest without knowing the exact return.
So what does that look like practically for someone listening right now wanting to make a change?
Where do you start?
Yeah. What can you actually do? Well, the advice is start small, but start today.
Okay, like what?
Like when you're actually with someone, try turning your phone off. Completely off. Not just on silent, face down on the table. Off.
Wow, that's a big step for some people.
It is. Or try asking questions that go a little deeper. Instead of the automatic, how are you? Maybe try, what's been weighing on your heart lately? Or what's bringing you joy right now?
Real questions.
Or just call a friend. Not texting, actually call them, just to see how they are. With no agenda, not wanting anything in return, just connecting.
And alongside that, practice what the sources call the lost art of listening. Really listening. Listening without jumping in to judge or fix or relate it back to yourself immediately. Just being present, staying with them, even if the conversation gets a bit uncomfortable or quiet.
Staying even when it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. And when someone in your life inevitably disappoints you, because we're all human, we all mess up, resist that knee-jerk reaction to just cut them off.
The disposable instinct.
Right. Try instead to talk about it. Work through the conflict. See if you can both grow through the difficulty rather than just running from it.
That takes courage, too.
It does. And maybe the most important piece of advice is have infinite patience with yourself through all of this.
Be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. You, me, everyone listening, we've all been shaped and conditioned by this culture. Recovering that ability to create and sustain deep bond. It's a slow process. There will be setbacks, learning curves. Yeah. That's okay.
But the key message is you're not doomed to be lonely forever.
Not at all.
You're not invisible to the universe, even if it feels that way.
No. And something interesting happens as you start to do this internal work, as you begin to sort of clean house internally.
How do you mean?
Letting go of old bitterness, maybe facing some of those paralyzing fears about connection, taking off the masks you wear to protect yourself.
Okay.
As you do that, you naturally start attracting different kinds of people into your life. People who are also looking for truth, for depth, for commitment, like attracts like.
So you don't need to change who you are to fit in.
Exactly the opposite. You don't need to mold yourself to the superficial world around you. Your real work is just to not give up on being, well, whole, authentic, vulnerably human.
Be yourself, basically, but the real, deeper self.
Precisely. And by choosing that depth, choosing authenticity, you actually become like an emotional beacon.
Beacon.
Yeah, for other hearts out there that are also searching for that same sense of real belonging, searching for home. And when you start living that way, you'll discover something amazing.
What's that?
There are far more people like you out there, longing for the same thing than you ever imagined.
So this journey, rebuilding true bonds, finding real connection in a world that often seems to work against it, it's not easy.
Definitely not easy.
But it sounds like it's one of the most important, most rewarding things you can possibly do for your own well-being, for your wounded soul, maybe?
I truly believe it is. It's worth the effort.